you're back. Let me guess. You want to know about universal system models, okay? Well, just happen to have something here for you. Now, just to let you know, universal system models is my own term. I don't know. I'm sure it's used throughout wherever. I'm not really sure. But a lot of times, you have to know, recently, I've always known I've been a little bit different, but I've always had autistic tendencies. Recently, I've realized that I have Asperger's. I don't know if you know what that is, but I would go into my own world, and a lot of times when I would be in my creative mode, I would, if you know what stemming is and all those kind of things, I would just kind of go into my own world and creativity. So sometimes I would come up with an idea, and I would have to put it aside just because I really wanted to focus on something else. And everything that I focus on is really about advanced behavioral systems, advanced information system models, and that's where the R3 comes in. So while I was building the R3, I've actually had to come up with some terms. Basically, I just had to label, put aside, and then move forward because I assumed they were right, not looking into science much, but you know, sometimes you just don't have time to write everything out. You can't solve every problem in the universe. Well, anyway, but speaking of solving every problem in the universe, actually, if you've ever heard of TOE, which is theory of everything, this might get the closest to that than anything I've ever come across. Now, so what is a universal system model? And by the way, I prepare these like within a minute or two. I write up something chicken scratch, which you can hardly even read. But as you'll see in the other examples, that when you come through the door, I just have you ask a question, I answer it. So this is something I don't have real labeled well or anything. But let me explain to you what I believe a universal system model is. First of all, the communication cube is a universal system model in my understanding. A universal system model takes on all the characteristics of what I explained in the communication cube, or language cube, whatever you want to call it. It basically allows, it's a geometric structure. It takes on a shape, first of all. It holds a fractal framework, and it's able to harness all of mathematics, all of language, all of color, and it basically takes in all these universal principles and boils it down to a simple, not only basically equation, but kind of program, if you will. And what I've realized, let me see if I can make the bridge here between a universal system model and the communication cube. Communication cube, or the language cube, whatever you want to call it, is in fact, in my understanding, what I would call a universal system model. Why? Well, because stepping back from the communication cube, we as human beings are behavioral creatures. Everything we do is behaviors. So it's not surprising that our whole language is based on behaviors. Remember when I said what, why, who, how, where, when? If you go back to that quick question that we answered, well, you'll understand that eventually all of geometry, all of mathematics, every branch of science comes into that model without you realizing it. So, and because it's fractal, even the communication cube, because it's universal, you're able to take that to any language in the world. You're able to take that to and apply it to any behavioral system in the world. Now, I know I'm getting out there for some, but if you literally could take the communication cube and the R3 model and basically use it universally across every behavioral system in the world. Every branch of government, every city, every business, every individual. There's no system in the world that it could count. It's universal in that way. But that's because it's a behavioral system. We, as human beings, are behavioral creatures. Now, stepping away from that, are all information systems cube-based? No. No, not cube-based. In fact, there's other things. There's other shapes, and you'll learn in the R3 model there's other shapes. There's tetrahedrons, there's spheres, there's all these sorts of shapes, and it is my belief, or my understanding, you might find differently, but you go explore it yourself, it's my theory, I guess, that because information must be stored geometrically, that this information is stored in different geometric structures. Let me give you a good example. We understand the communication cube. But what about all of the information in the world? What happens if you contained everything in the library? Well, you could organize it through a Dewey Decimal System, which is like, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to laugh here because I cannot believe we organize information in certain ways today when we should be well beyond and well more advanced than this. A lot of times, and I'm not joking around with Dewey, please don't, forgive me, Dewey, but basically you've got the Library of Congress, you've got Dewey Decimal System, you've got all these information management system wares. But the thing they get caught up on, and please hear me on this, the thing they get caught up on is they get caught up on the view, not the way that information should be stored. Now, if you go back the last few decades, I know there's this belief that you can just dump information in and then you just query against it. Well, I'm sorry, I'm adamantly against that process because you'll never, and I'm going to get really passionate here, you'll never build what I believe is an advanced behavioral system from that, and you will not bridge intelligent data. I believe, I have to hold back here because some people think I'm talking about artificial intelligence here, and I don't want to lose you. But information, there is a specific way to store information. I can almost guarantee you that. And I think, let me give you a good example, okay? Let me step back. Let's say this. I say step back too much, sorry. If I hit you in the head and hit me in the head, do we lose similar information? Absolutely, if we hit ourselves in the same place. Why? Because certain information is stored in your brain in a certain area. If I hit your computer and my computer in the same place in the hard drive, you won't lose similar information. Okay? So that's just part of it. So it's kind of showing that information must be stored in a specific place, in a specific manner, and in a specific geometric structure. And so universal system models, what are they? I believe they're shapes that are almost have a mathematical base to them. Let me say this too. We're a 10-base system. Okay, this might be for another video, but 10-base system. Why? Because we're probably 10 figures, 10 zeros. I don't believe most information systems are 10-based. I believe they're 3-based. Why? I believe nature possibly is a 3-based information system. Why? Because you've got basically like 3 colors. You've got 3 colors, it produces all the colors, basically all the colors. You see 3 again and again and again. We're 10-based because we've got 10 fingers, 10 toes. And I'll show you even more. Now, I don't know mathematics well. I'll be honest about that. But I'll show you in the future how geometry and how mathematics and how language and all of the sciences come into a universal whole. And when we get closer to this, oh, there's so much. Where do I stop on this? You've got me going. You've got me going. This whole topic, universal system models, could probably take me a decade to explore. I don't know enough about it. And basically, I'm too busy building a model based on it. So, if you want to ask questions, go ahead, fire off questions. But there's probably people a lot more intelligent on the matter than me on the planet. So you might want to ask them. Basically, I've just assumed universal models exist, and I built the R3 based on it. That's it. But maybe you'll come back for another question. Thanks.